What is up, music junkies? We are proud to bring you another episode. So before we jump into all that and let you know who we're going to be interviewing, I think Mario and I should catch up because it's been about a week since we've really had a talk about the music. So let's talk about our favorite genres. Let's go ahead and list five. Do you want to start? Would you like me to start?
I could start. I think right now, in this point in time, I'm listening to more rap and R&B. That's like my main focuses. But my favorite genres have always been rap, rock, um, R&B. I'm not too much into pop, but of course, if it plays on the radio, it gets catchy and shit. But um, hardcore. I like a little bit of country. It's kind of it's so hard. I listen to so many genres. It's hard to narrow it down to just five because
Okay.
I listen to pretty much everything.
So go ahead and tell me a little bit about what you like about each.
What rock, it just feels there's just so much soul in it and so much passion, and I like the heavier shit. So makes me fucking gets me angry and going, especially when I'm working out or having going through some shit that I just gotta fucking listen. R&B fucking love singing. Love the whole sensual part of music. Bachata. We're oh by the way we're interviewing Larisa Santiago, which is a Latin English pop. She's a little bit of everything. So we're gonna kind of sort of talk about Latin music in the interview. But yeah, like bachata is, I would say it's the Mexican or not the Mexican, the Hispanic Latino R&B.
Hmm.
So the sensual part of the music and how it makes you put you in the mood to do some adult rated R things.
The music that makes you either want to fuck or fight. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. That's my shit. That's all I like to do. So what about you?
Okay, so me, recently, like you said, I've been getting more into the rap, and I think I really like the element of free expression and
Yeah.
using percussiveness and like the use of ad libs in there to kind of add a little more depth to just like the spoken word, and you can really feel what the person's trying to convey with rap, especially when they start getting aggressive. And you have people like Eminem or even like Hobson or what's one more good one that I'm recently listened to. Uh, Never mind. Just those two
Never
for now.
mind. So speaking of rap, look at what I got.
What you got? Is that King Blitz?
That's King Blitz, bro.
King Blitz sent
Signed,
me a CD.
signed
Dang!
CD. King Blitz.
Nice, nice.
Just wanted to show that off.
No, that's pretty dope, man. That's pretty dope. Does he have anything new on there, or is it just like what he has?
No, that's what he has, but he did release a new song, and I don't want to say the name because I couldn't remember it the other day.
Ooh. Sorry,
Uh,
King Blitz.
I was bumping that shit. Let's see. Let me confirm. Uncontested. There you go. It's only 2 minutes and a few seconds, but it's so good. I was bumping that shit. Definitely recommended. Eight Father just released a remix with Julie. Talk talk that way. So it's his original release, and then he remixed it with Julie. So that's out. You should check that out.
I hear he's got something else coming out here pretty soon.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we won't talk about that today, but yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good song. Anyways, so what else are you listening to?
Okay, so there was the rap. So I've also been listening to a lot of soul and R&B lately too. You know, I'm finding that that's more along the lines of really really sad music because I've yet to find something positive or like happy or
Well, what kind of R&B and soul are you listening to? The old school kind?
I'm listening to a mixture of both. You know, I'm going back to like the '80s, and then I've been playing in like the early 2000s. Anything
Early
that's
2000s?
yeah, early 2000s.
God
Hey,
damn. Shows
so
your
80s,
age.
2000s. Yeah, I know, right?
How old are you? What? 28?
Not yet. Don't you dare put that on me.
You're 30?
January.
You're 35?
No, 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 no. 72.
I'm still gonna play the age card because I'm younger than you
That's okay. You
by
can
a
play it
few
all you want.
by a few months. Still younger.
And then there's I've been listening to a lot of metal, but everyone that knows me knows, okay, yeah, that's just Jake.
It's just the butt
I
metal.
have to
Yeah.
listen to metal, you know. So I mean, when I'm driving, when I'm starting my day, hell, if I could, while I'm shooting, if I had headphones, I'd be listening to metal. I wouldn't.
Dude, imagine bumping some heavy ass metal while shooting a fucking AR. Fuck, that'd be so dope. There's this guy that does YouTube videos. His name's Max. Don't know what they call him, but he did. Him and his friends did the Star Spangled Banner, whatever that song is called, um, with guns shooting at metal
Target.
targets that make a sound when you hit him. So it was badass. It was pretty fucking cool. It was just different, all different guns, a shotgun, a sniper, a AR. So they were just shooting, making the song.
Just having like a beat.
Yeah, it was fucking amazing.
That's
Anyways,
cool.
so you were talking about Eminem. So Eminem came up. Eminem collaborated with Kid Cudi and
Mm.
released the new song, and that was released what, on Friday, I think. Um, I hate to say this because I know I'm gonna get a little bit of hate on it, but I'm not a present day Eminem fan. Just like I'm
Okay.
not a present day Kanye fan, And Kanye thinks he's running for president. Fuck him. Fuck Kanye. If you vote for him, you're a fucking dumbass. Anyways,
He has that grandiose personality type. He's gonna go run for it and probably fucking get it because that's just.
he's overcompensating for what? Anyways,
I mean, he's Kanye.
so I listened to that Kid Cudi Eminem collaboration. I'm I'm okay with it. It's not the greatest. I would expect more. Kid Cudi, he's been MIA for a long time in the music, you know, aspect of it because I know he was acting a little bit. He was in Need for Speed, but it was an okay song. I mean, I've heard better, but
You're still always gonna be a Tupac fan. I get it.
I mean, Tupac is Tupac. You can't go wrong with that. But yeah, I mean, it was okay. Uh, so I just saw. We're talking about Latin artists. I just saw J Balvin's music video Azul, and that was the weirdest shit ever. So he plays like it's kind of like he's like a doll or it's just some kind of animation type shit. And then he orders a sex doll or he opens the door and there's a box with a sex doll in it. And I'm like watching and the song's good. The song's really good, but the music video is just trippy. So he was, I guess, fucking the sex doll and then the sex doll comes to life for some reason. I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
But it's
I mean, I guess
crazy.
it could be symbolic. Um, my brain wanting to pick it apart and dissect it and kind of just like understand the message behind
No,
that.
I don't think there's really a message behind it. I think it's just fun. Just an idea.
This is fun.
It's it's reggaeton. Reggaeton's like, I keep saying this is like trap, Spanish trap. So I think it's just fucking around. They think it's funny or cool. Um,
Mhm.
it might be a meaning, and it's crazy because Latin artists are making a huge, huge push into the pop culture. So like if you watch the VMAs, but 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, Maluma was the first Latin artist to be to get a VMA, to win a VMA. He was the first Latin artist. And, VMAs are, it's pretty much just pop, a little bit of rap and stuff like that. So it's all pop culture. And Latin, is making a push through. Bad Bunny was the first ever Latin artist to be featured on Rolling Stones magazine, which is a huge accomplishment. There's Maluma, J Balvin, Anuel, Bad Bunny. All of them are making collaborations, and I feel like this is gonna be the new normal. You know how there's the new normal of, there's always a new normal every year. There's
I seen the Latin with Justin Bieber when he came out with a Latin style song.
Yeah,
like with the
he was with who was the fucking artist he featured in? Can't even think of it, but yeah, there's Becky G with Prince Royce and Anuel. But Becky G is Mexican, so I kind of get that. But Snoop Dogg made a song with Banda MS. Snoop Dogg, rapper with
BMWG.
Banda MS is fucking corridos, rancheras, So it's just, that's going to be the new normal. And there's so much Spanish speaking Americans in the United States
Like
that
isn't
it makes
Snow the
sense.
Product like that too?
Snow the product, yeah, does. She raps in English and Spanish, but she does collaborations with everyone.
Rappers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, me and my girl were talking. We were listening to on the radio, fucking Anuel featuring with the rapper, or no, it was Tyga with DJ Snake and I think it was J Balvin. They have a song out, and we were listening. We're like, dude, this is what's gonna be normal now. It's just Latin artists with American artists, and that's it. That's gonna be the new normal. So I mean, I enjoy it. I speak both languages, so it works for me. But even people that don't speak both languages, just the beat, it just makes you want to dance, makes you want to move. The reggaeton, instruments, it just makes it pretty awesome. So I think that's gonna be up and coming, and we're just gonna see it everywhere, hear it everywhere. I'm excited for it.
Heck yeah, man.
So
I'm excited too because they bring a lot of like good vibes with them too, and
Yeah.
I've been hearing it too.
yeah, reggaeton's a mixture of trap and reggae, so people could fuck with it. I could fuck with it.
I fucks with it.
You fucks with it.
I fucks with it.
All right, well, I think we're ready for Larisa Santiago. Great singer. She does a little bit of everything. She's worked reggaeton, she's worked pop, her Portuguese or her Brazilian native music. I personally haven't heard that, so I gotta check it out. Anyways, stay tuned for the interview. So, Larissa, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're pretty much blowing up now. You got a lot of music out. So I kind of want to just ask, first of all, this is my go-to question is, how did you get started in the music? How did you start making music?
I've always been involved with music, like pretty much my entire life. I was born in Brazil. I technically immigrated to Canada when I was 17. So prior to that, I used to be in a school choir when I was about like 9 or 10. And then when I was 15, I started taking private lessons. And then when I moved to Canada, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to be involved with music somehow. So I joined the school ensemble. Because I studied in Victoria, actually. So that's why, like, the correlation, me going back to Victoria, doing quarantine and all that. So, yeah, I joined the vocal jazz ensemble. And then I started university in Toronto. And then I felt like something was missing. And then I accidentally bumped into a music producer. And then we started working. I was like, oh, my gosh, that's what was missing. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
involved with music for a long time, and sometimes university can really suck you in, and you're just like focused like academics, like becoming adult, and like
You just have
sometimes
so
you're
much on your plate. Yeah.
Exactly.
and then your passion is just like bye, like I'll see
Yeah.
you whenever, right? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually what I want to do, because sometimes you're so like focused on certain areas of your life, and then like there's always like that one thing like poking you, and for me it's always been music. So then I'm just like, I think like my purpose in life is to actually do music, like make music, put out there in the world like a message, or somehow like put my voice out there, because it's always been something that's always been in my life, whether I like it or not, it's always there. So then I just got started from there. I started like writing more during university, and then I just like randomly on Spotify was just checking out like new Canadian music and all that. And then I contacted a producer from Edmonton. He lives in Edmonton, but he's actually from here. And then we worked on Home, the song that you're like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I really like it.
Yeah.
So we worked on Home, and then since then I was just like, I want to make more music. So and I've always been passionate about different genres, because I grew up listening to a lot of different music, and then moving to Victoria, I got to I had a lot of Mexican friends, so I got really immersed into the Latin culture, because like Brazil is kind of like its own secluded country in the middle of Latin America, and we have our own genres, and it's very like different from the rest, because everybody else is Hispanic and we're not. So I started learning Spanish, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the only Brazilian girl out here, and I have no friends, and they're the closest thing to my culture.
Yeah.
And I was like at the same time learning English, and like going through, it's very hard when you're 17 on your own, starting a new school in a different language. I've studied English before back in Brazil, but it wasn't the same. It's like you're studying a couple hours of Spanish, and then you're like, boom, I'm in Mexico.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh gosh. So then I started becoming friends with the Mexicans, learned Spanish that way, because it was very easy. There was Spanish taught at school. Then I'm like, I'm gonna take the language and then just practice with my Mexican friends, because why not? That's like that just seemed easy. And turned out that I loved Spanish. So that's how everything started to like come together. And then the whole movement with Latin music and all that. So yeah, then one thing led to the other. Like there's no such thing as like the right path. So yeah, and here I am.
Sounds like you got a couple of things that make you pretty diverse. So let me go ahead and ask you, what are 3 of your inspirations in the music industry, and what do you like most about them?
Man, I really like Anitta. Anitta is a singer. I don't know if you guys know her. She's from Brazil, and she's broken all stigmas, and she sings in the 3 languages, English, Portuguese, and Spanish. She's becoming a worldwide phenomena. So for me, it's like, wow, I really admire that, because she came from a poor family back in Rio de Janeiro, and she was able to make the Brazilian funk very pop and recognized out there, So for me, like, I really look up to that. And I also love worldwide music. I love knowing different cultures and all that. So I want to show that it's like, it's possible for a girl from Brazil sing in English, like follow pretty much like her route per se, like just being able to like put yourself out there, put Brazil more on the map as well, because there aren't as many, a lot of people that were famous back in the day, like in the international arena, they were like the old school music, and now we're having Brazilian pop music becoming famous out there. So it's really cool to see, and inspires me to show that like music actually has no barriers, and you can enjoy a Latin music, like you can enjoy J Balvin, you can enjoy Anita, you can enjoy, you know, many other different artists, and they're not per se like American or,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, nowadays it just seems like Latin music is just making its way into the United States
Yeah.
as pop culture. You know, back in the day it was like, oh, you know, it's just the Hispanics just listening to reggaeton. But now, like Bad Bunny was the first Latin artist to be featured on what was it? It wasn't Time mag. It was Rolling Stones magazine.
Hmm.
So you know, I feel like their Latin music is just making a huge impact, and kind of cool that you're, you know, trying to break through the barriers and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like I mean, like a lot of the population of the United States, they are Hispanics, they're
Yeah.
Latin, so
Yeah.
it's really cool to see that like they're part of it as well, right? Like it's like embracing it. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
So how was the transition going from, you know, living in Brazil to Canada? And why Canada? Like out of every place, like out Los Angeles, which is closer to Brazil and, you know, bigger in music and stuff like that. So how did you, you know, get there?
Well, the transition was kind of funny in a sense because I wanted to have gone to a music school, right? And then like I was looking at options and all that, and then um, Canada just seemed safer and smaller. You know, like I don't know, I would have been terrified just leaving my house like at the age of 17 and being in the middle of Los Angeles. I'm
Oh yeah.
like, oh my, you know, I was like, oh
Definitely don't
my
want to be
god.
down there.
Yeah, Los Angeles is crazy.
Yeah, so it was kind of like I also wanted to learn English, so it just seemed like the best option for me. You know, like my parents were on board with that. They were like, okay, that's fine. um they were also scared that I went to the US, right? Because it's just huge.
Yeah.
It's just like it's scary for me as well, you know. So yeah, that was like why Canada, like seems like safer, smaller.
People
I
are
really
nicer.
like the school. Pardon me?
Yeah, it's not
People
Hollywood.
people are nicer in Canada than they are in the United States. That's for sure.
Come on, Americans are nice.
Americans are mean.
Yeah,
Americans
I know.
are horrible. We're horrible people. But I'm Mexican, so you know, I would say I'm a little nicer than the average American.
Yeah, so then like I really liked the school, and like we looked a little bit like about the town and all that. I'm like, sure, that it seems to be very good and it would be a great experience, so why not? It was kind of like a little random, you know. It was
Yeah.
just I just went with it, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to make the best of the situation, and I am going as an exchange student, learn English, assimilate the culture. And they also really how do I say this, they really do the marketing for Brazilians to also go to Canada to study. There's, I don't know what it is, but like they incentivize us to go to Canada as
Yeah.
well. So I was just like, that's very appealing. The school has a great music program. So I'm like, sure, like why not? And it was great.
You didn't major in music, right? You did international
Relations.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
you did a minor in music, or how did that go?
No, I've never really. Well, I studied music a little bit back in Brazil, like going to the vocal coach, going to a teacher. I don't know how to say this in English. Going to a teacher that teaches you notes. It's like how do I say musicalization? I don't know if that makes sense, but like
I
just
think I
like
get it.
it's weird, like ear training and just someone like to help me. But like I did it for such a short period of time, because then I'm like, yeah, peace out, I'm going to Canada, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I've always done like everything myself, like singing and like writing. I just started to write whatever I felt and whatever I thought it was cool. read a couple books here and there, like everything like self-taught mostly.
That's awesome.
So, what would you say that you struggle the most with when it comes to making and writing your music? What's your Achilles heel?
I find it like it's just very hard to find the right formula to market yourself or like to establish your own brand. You know, like because sometimes like
And that's with writing?
Pardon me?
I asked you like with writing, with your lyrics,
Oh,
with
sorry.
Your music purpose. No, it's okay, it's okay. I'd love to hear about that too.
Yeah,
but...
we'll get back to that one. I want to hear about that one.
What is the sorry, I think I got sidetracked.
What is the hardest part about writing music? So what do you like get stuck with?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like the inspiration, you know, because sometimes like I'm just living a normal life, you know, like I don't have anything like major going on. I don't know. Sometimes it's just like nothing really
what do I write about? Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes it's just like I run out of ideas. So what do I do? So then like when I do that, I start like listening to other people's music. What else? I start reading about things. Sometimes a movie sparks me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could write about this.
Yeah.
Because like most of the time what I feel is that people think that artists are constantly writing about themselves and like writing about like stories that they went through and all that, but that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, not everyone goes through everything, you know. And
like so sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, I heard the story about my friend, I don't know, she broke up with her boyfriend, this XYZ happened, and it was like
I already heard that story.
So then I'll just take it and I'll just write about it. You know, it's just like stuff that like I think people could relate to. And yeah, so then I go from there, and that's kind of, or sometimes I ask people like, tell me a thing that I could write about. Yeah. And then I'll just start from there, because songwriting is not just about inspiration, but also about the craft, right? So sometimes you need to really sit down and just write. You're like, I'm going to write about like, this house is yellow, or just like throw a bunch of like random words, and then you see like, oh, this could actually be an idea, and then you write about it.
So what's easier for you, writing the hook or the verse?
Oh, I think writing the verse, because like I kind of like, it kind of weirds me out when I'm like starting like writing a story from like the middle to the beginning. That's kind of how I feel about like writing like the chorus first and then the verses, you know. And for me, it's like I need to start small, and then like the chorus will be like the climax, right, of the whole song. So that's kind of how I work.
That's funny, because you know, I've talked to a lot of people that say no, chorus is always first. That's the first thing, then you write your verses. I'm not like that. I can't write a chorus to save my life, so I focus on my verses, get those good, and then, you know, spend time on the chorus.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so let's go back to marketing yourself. So you said you kind of like struggle with that a little bit. So what are you doing now?
Pardon?
What do you think is working now, and what do you think wasn't working? So how was your learning curve and adjusting to that? Because I mean, now it seems like you're having a lot more success. So I mean, like,
yeah, because a lot of the things as well is just like, I don't know, having friends helping you out. For example, like you tag people, and then people start tagging and all that. Yeah. So like that really helps. Also, I mean, I'm not like, I am independent, right? Like I do everything myself. So it's just really finding like ways of like, I don't know, writing to magazines, going like having you guys, for example, reaching out, like going to like radio stations that are multicultural, or like people who are interested, and also a lot of reaching out, a lot of like, hey, this is my music, check this out, like a lot of emailing. So that helps a lot. It's a lot of like, you need to put yourself out there in order to start getting some traction.
Are you solely focused on music, or do you have your career, you know, you're pursuing outside of music?
So right now, COVID hit, right? Yeah. So I've been mostly focused on music. I'm also like looking for like some side hustles that I could do and all that that could help me with music. um, I also am learning about how to make beats and find like different ways to also monetize my talent, right?
Yeah.
So been writing as well, like with other people and all that, because the end goal is for sure to live off from music. It's my main passion. So um, I've worked at a 9 to 5 before, and it drained me. It drained my soul
Yeah.
because you're solely like focused on work. Like, and it was in music too, you know, like it was on the music business side, but at the same time, like you're not working on your passion, you're
Yeah.
not working towards yourself. So for me, I found it very difficult. Like I wasn't, you know, feeling totally fulfilled. So yeah, that's what I've been up to right now.
So, you're songwriting, or did you stop that? You were songwriting for someone, right? You were signed as a songwriter?
uh no, I'm not signed as a songwriter. I mostly I don't know if you guys heard of that platform called Sound Better. I freelance songwriting there.
Oh, okay. How's
Yeah.
that?
It's good because like you always like meeting different people. You help them, you know, like, oh, you guys made a song, like it's very cool. I've also been collaborating with producers out of Instagram. So it's like, thank God for social media, thank God for the
Yeah.
internet, because you get to like meet a lot of people that it could be like it brings you business opportunities, right? So that you've never thought you'd have. So
So, what kind of music do you like to like write? Because I know you've done a little bit of reggaeton, you know,
yeah,
pop. Well,
yeah.
what's your favorite?
Oh, this is so hard. That's a hard question. That's a tough question. I think like I don't have like a very like, oh my gosh, this is like, yes, this is my genre, this is like my most preferred
Yeah.
one. I think it really depends on the mood I am. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, this song hypes me up, I want to write something EDM, and like, you know, I'm just like really love it. And then I'm just like, oh, I really like this beat from the internet, I'm gonna write a reggaeton song. Like it really depends, you know. Like I just love music, so I'm down to write pretty much like
Anything.
in any genre. I've never tried country music yet, but who knows?
Who knows? I'm gonna see you
Who
with
knows?
the hat, some cowboy boots, and everything.
No. It would be like Becky G style, you know. If I were to write like a country music, you know, like Lost in the Middle of Nowhere, I think that's the name of the song. Yeah. So like I was like, I have a song coming out with Troy Junker. He's a friend of mine. He's a rapper, and I've never thought that I would be in a song that has mostly a rap.
Yeah.
And I sing like the chorus and outro. Um, it's his song. It's called Waves, and I'm the featuring artist, the featured artist. So you know, and it was like really cool, and it's like something that kind of put me out of my comfort zone as well. So
That's the
Yeah.
most fun to have, is right outside of your comfort zone too.
yeah,
So you
totally.
was
Yeah.
your first reggaeton song with, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, Keenan?
No. My first reggaeton song was with producer Medilandia. But the song with Keenan was my first featured song with like a Colombian artist. He's straight from Colombia, and he reached out to me, and I'm like, this is very cool. He's super talented. We also have like friends in common from Canada. So it ended up like, it was crazy because he reached out to me like 2 weeks before he wanted to release the song, and I'm like, oh gosh,
Okay.
let's get to work. And it turned out like really well, and it's one of my favorite songs. I really love it.
Did you write the chorus, or did you just sing it?
Yeah, like we wrote them. The verse was already like, he had the idea already done, but then like everything else, like I recorded at home. I wrote the English part, and we went from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, what was your first song ever written and released?
It was Home.
Home? That was your first song ever?
Not my first song ever, but like I've always written for myself, you know, like I've like, for me, like I wouldn't say like they're songs, but they're more ideas, because I didn't really know about like song structuring at the time. Like I started writing when I was like 15. So it was kind of like just writing ideas here and there, like hooks. And I've written more than like 250 ideas. It was just something that like I loved it, you know, like sometimes I'll be like at school, like in the middle of the class, I would have an idea and I had to just like flip my notebook and I'm like, you know, like, yeah. And like, I wouldn't even like, it was really funny because like I would always come up with ideas at school and I'm like, I don't understand why. And at home as well. So it was kind of like crazy because sometimes like melodies would just like form in my head, and then like words would just start forming. I'm like, I need to write this down right now. So yeah, so more than 250 ideas, and then like the first song that I thought it was like good and that I'm like, I want to have this produced was Home.
What's Home about?
Home is about the story of two people. They were in love, but things fell through, and then they reconnected again. And then it's like, it's the confused feeling of like reconnecting with someone that you loved deeply, and then you fall into like a romance again. But then it's just like this, you just get confused because like, oh, we both got hurt, but we both still love each other. It's like, it's confusing, right? Like sometimes it's just like, oh, okay, like we still have something there, but then you just like, you're not sure, but then it feels right. It's about the inner conflict, I'd say.
So is that from personal, or is that something? Yeah.
That is a personal.
that one's a personal one.
That was a personal one.
Oh God, yeah. It's so crazy because, you know, a lot of people are like saying that, well, like you were saying, you could write about anything, something you read, something you've gone through, and there's just some people, and I forgot who we had on the show that was just saying that they only write about personal stuff. So if they don't have anything going on in their life, they can't write about anything. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
For me, it's like where the inspiration comes from, right? Like sometimes like something that happened to me, I'm like, oh, I just need to like write this down. Like this song was really like more like, not like a rant, but like I just needed to put this down to process my thoughts.
Yeah.
It's like I just didn't know what was going on. I'm like, what the hell is happening? I just need to sit down and process this. It was more like a relief than like an actual song, but then it became like, I don't know how to explain. It was just like I wrote it like, I don't know, like in 10 minutes or so. It was like so like it was really funny because like it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm sitting on my bed with my keyboard, and like I had roommates at the time, and I'm like, I can't be loud or whatever, so I just had like my headphones plugged in my keyboard, and then I just started like playing chords, and I'm like, okay, the song's done, I'm off to bed now.
Yeah.
So it was like,
that's
it was
crazy.
Like it was very fast, and yeah, because sometimes like things just come so naturally. You're like going through a phase or something that like you just don't know how to express yourself. And myself, for me, like I've always been better at words than like speaking to someone. Like I'm much better in writing, like, you know. So for me, it was like a way of processing it, and I felt such relief after. I just like, that's what I feel. Okay, cool, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's better than sitting down and just talking to someone about it. You focus.
Yeah,
you focus solely
exactly, because it's your own authentic, genuine feelings and thoughts that you're able to put in there and be like, "This is me."
Like, and for me, that was a very vulnerable song. It's like one of my most vulnerable songs I have. Like, it came straight from like like let's just throw it out loud. And yeah,
So, do you have anything you're working on now?
I do. I'm working on a couple songs in Portuguese now.
Mm. How
Yeah,
many
that was
languages
some.
do you speak? Sorry.
Polyglot you.
What?
I said you
um,
polyglot you.
I speak Portuguese, of course. I mean, my parents say like, "No, you don't really speak Portuguese anymore because you speak English all the time." And when I say stuff, they're like, "What?" But it's really funny. So yeah, I speak Portuguese. I speak Italian. I speak English, Spanish, and I speak a little bit of French.
Oh
Okay,
my
so about
god.
4.5 languages. Because
Yeah.
I think it would have been a better question to ask what languages you don't speak.
Yeah.
Well, a
Damn.
lot of them. A lot of them.
Okay, so when it comes to your music, you talked about playing the keyboard. Do you have like a favorite chord progression that you use, you start with the G or whatever? No.
Not really. No, it just kind of like I don't know. Sometimes I just like roam around and I start pressing. I'm like, this feels like something's missing. So then I start like going again until like I have like a 4 chord progression. I'm like, oh, I like this. Because
Okay.
like the way I write is very random. Like I could be just here, but like la 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 la. Oh, I like this. And then like I create a melody, and then like I don't even look at the chords, you know. Or sometimes a top line on a beat that I like that someone gives it to me, or I don't know, you know. And then I'm like, okay, I like this melody or whatever. And then like I could be at the keyboard and like I create the chords first and then the melody comes. And then I also play a little bit of the guitar. So like same deal. So it could be from like beat to top line to beat. Let's put it that way. So
Okay. Last question. Do you like minor or major more?
major, it's happier.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
High five to that.
So I interrupted you, asking about the languages. So what are you working on right now?
Oh, sorry.
That was my
working
bad.
on- I just finished working with a DJ from Brazil. I don't know when we're releasing it. Like I don't know what the plans are, but it's a song. It's pretty much like a pop EDM song that we were working on. Now I'm working on a project in Portuguese. I have Waves releasing July 20th with Troy Junker. What else? And I also have in mind continuing a project in Spanish.
Mm.
Yeah.
What kind of Spanish though? Like what kind of project is it going to be? Like reggaeton? Is it going to be just
Pop.
bachata, pop?
Pop reggaeton, more
Okay.
like those vibes. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
awesome. So that's pretty much all the questions I have.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to say to your fans,
anything for
to
the
our
fans?
listeners?
Well, don't give up on your dreams. If you have something that you really want to do, just keep at it, because every starting point is better than staying still, right? Like you'll never know who you're gonna meet. You never know where you're gonna go. So just keep at it, believe in yourself, and power through, because we only have one life, and our life is very short, and we're supposed to be happy, right? Like we're supposed to fulfill whatever we want. So yeah, just keep at it and don't give up. Things will be tough at times, and all we can do is take every opportunity as a learning opportunity and become the better version of ourselves. Yeah.
Awesome. Well put. Well, I appreciate you coming on the
Thank you.
show. Really
Thank you so
thankful for
much. I
that.
appreciate it as well. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, continue doing what you're doing. You have a lot of talent. I think you're going to be a good change in the world, so keep doing it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Well, that was an amazing interview with Larisa. We have a couple guests with us right now.
Yes,
You
we
can see,
do.
this is my Lucy girl. She's my cute little white girl.
White girl.
And Jake has his twin with him. They look exactly alike. They're
I
identical.
cannot tell the difference.
Which one is Jake? Anyways, so that was a great interview. Awesome girl. Gonna do great things. I love her voice. So if you haven't heard her, listen to her. She's on all streaming platforms. Larisa Santiago has a great song called Home. No soy tu niñera, for my Spanish speaking folks out there. Check her out. Gonna do great things.
Yes, she is. Well, guys, until next time, I'd say stay tuned because next week we're going to be having another interview dropping, as always. So,
Awesome. You guys take care.
catch you there.